Welcome to the Tennis Warehouse racket review of the Tecnifibre TRebound 298 EGA Signature Racket. Tecnifibre introduces a new racket into the TRebound family that was created for 2020 French Open champion Iga Swiatek. With a 98 square inch head, a strung weight of 11 ounces, it also has a 23 millimeter constant beam, a 16 by 19 string pattern, and an RA of 71. This racket is an explosive swinging weapon, allowing players to find loads of pop, spin, and precision from almost any shot. I'm always excited to try a racket that was built for a professional player, and my racket of choice is one of those. Obviously, that one comes in much heavier than this one that's 298 grams unstrung. So really excited to see what this could do for my game. When I got on court with it, I really just did my best to try to play like Iga. So as you've watched her, she plays with so much creativity out there, but she's also one of the biggest, fastest swinging players. So I also was really working on swinging big still, but adding a lot more angles, touch, variety within my game. So that was a super fun part of those play tests. I love that it's not an 100 square inch racket, so I did find a tiny bit of control and a little more precision than I would have found if the racket was a little bit bigger. Yes, it does have an RA of 71, which is quite stiff, so it plays crisp, but I never found it to be uncomfortable. I didn't find any brassiness or anything. So while I might not say it's the most comfortable racket out there, I loved the stiffer RA because that just amps up the power and the stability for me as well. At net, I found it to hold up really well to fast-paced players, and it was super stable and really maneuverable. Plus, I was really crafty up there, again trying to pull out my inner Iga and her beautiful style of play. No issues whatsoever with serves. The biggest critique I'm going to give it is a personal thing. I obviously use a heavier racket with much more plow through and pace, so I noticed I wasn't getting as much plow through and pace from this racket. And if I was hitting against another big hitter, it did kind of show and I wasn't able to strike first. However, it was great for me to play in doubles matches and really had a fun time hitting with this one.
When I first looked at this Iga racket on paper, what really stood out to me was the 298 gram weight. It stood out as quite unique, with most rackets either being a 295 or a 300 gram. Once I got out on court, really just felt like a 300 gram racket when I was swinging it. It felt nice and comfortable. It felt nice and stable, about like what you would expect from a 300 gram unstrung racket. I did find that I really wanted to keep my racket head speed up to keep that stability going, and I was actually very impressed with how much spin I was getting, way more than I was expecting. And I liked how this racket delivered a controlled amount of power. It was giving me easy depth, but I wasn't feeling wild on my shots, which is really important for my game. As I move forward to net, I really liked the maneuverability of this racket, and I could just stick the volley out and get the ball shot off to where I was wanting. What I was really excited was my serve. I was getting easier power and better spin than I was expecting as well from this 98 square inch head size, so I was really impressed there. On returns, I really liked how quickly it came around, so I could be defensive or aggressive depending on what kind of serve was coming at me. On paper, this racket shows a 71 RA, and that's typically stiffer than I like to play with. Although I didn't find it to be uncomfortable, it was giving me the benefits of that stiffer layup with a nice depth and easy power without a lot of discomfort. Those are Michelle and I's thoughts. Next up, we're going to check up with our team in Georgia. So what did you think, guys?
Thanks, guys. From the first time that I saw this racket, I was really enjoying the overall look of the frame, and getting it on court, I have to say it was just a really solid performer from around the court. I could play with a lot of variety, and it just felt like a racket that was going to cater to a lot of different playing styles. On ground strokes, this swung super fast through the air, came through the ball with some nice punch, and it just was really easy to tap into power, but also offered really easy access to topspin for keeping those balls inside the lines. Also really loved the slice on this frame, and I was just impressed with how stable it felt considering its weight. It is a stiffer frame than I usually like to play with or gravitate to, but I felt like it played comfortably out of the sweet spot. Outside of the sweet spot, you could sense that it was a firmer frame, but overall, I thought it offered good feel, and it definitely offered more control than I was expecting. It just really went up against pace well considering the spec. Moving into net, I felt like I could do no wrong. This racket was just super quick to get into position, so I felt like I could get a good handle on what was thrown at me. It felt stable, and it offered enough put-away power to really dictate where I wanted to place the ball and close out the point. And then on serves, this was just user-friendly from the get-go. Stepping up to line, swinging this overhead, it swung super fast. It was easy to mix up my serves if I wanted to go flatter, if I wanted to tap into the spin potential. There was some nice kick off the ground, so overall really easy to use there. So again, really solid frame from around the court. I think this is one that baseliners and serve and volleyers are both going to really enjoy.
Hi guys, I really enjoyed playtesting with this racket. It felt great in my hands. The weight of everything about this racket just really was awesome. When I was hitting ground strokes at the baseline, it felt great. I was able to get great racket head speed. The maneuverability for this racket's awesome. No matter where I wanted to place the ball, it was really easy. If I wanted to step in and drive the ball or add top spin and hit a heavy ball, it felt great. I will say that it is a bit stiff. I didn't really notice it until I got to the net, but that felt great in my hands, especially when hitting volleys. I could drive the volley, I could hit a touch volley, no matter if I wanted to go long or short in the court. When I was hitting serves, it really felt great. I could pop the serve, I could hit kick serve, or I could slice, no matter what I wanted to do. I will say this is a pretty solid racket. It's so good that I might even switch to it, so I really enjoy playing with this. For this review, we strung up the racket with Tecnifibre Razor Code at around 52 pounds. For more information about this racket or others, check us out at Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, or Tennis Only.